Hello friends, this is Professor Nilesh Kale, and in this video lecture series we are learning about supply. In previous video we had learned about the supply definition under section 7. Subsection 1 was dealing with schedule 1 and schedule 2, and subsection 2 deals with the out of scope of supplies. Right, now we shall start with the schedule 1. Schedule 1 says the transactions treated as supply under GST even if made without consideration. In the previous video we had learnt about the supply, and there we have clearly understood that the supply has two different dimensions, and both the dimensions, I mean to say both the conditions must be satisfied. And these conditions are: number one, consideration, there should be a consideration, and number two, the supply should be made for the furtherance of business. Right, these are the two conditions. Condition number one, consideration should be there. Condition number two, the supply has to be made for the furtherance of business. Now if these two conditions are satisfied, then only we are calling it as supply under section 1, under section 7 subsection 1. Now schedule 1 deals with the transaction treated as supply under GST even if made without consideration. Now these are the 4 such transactions where if the transactions happen and even if the consideration is not taken, then we are going to consider that as the supply. And these are those 4 transactions. Number 1, transaction between related persons. Who is a related person under GST? What is the taxability of supply made between related persons? And valuation of transaction between related persons. We are going to see all these 3 in the next video, next slide. We are only first understanding what is there in the schedule 1. Okay, schedule 1 first entry deals with the transaction between related persons. Second entry deals with supply of goods via agent. Now if you are supplying any good via agent, and that too without any consideration, then still that will be considered as a supply. Taxable person importing services from a related person. Taxable person importing services in section 7 subsection 1 and second clause, there we had learned about the importing of services, be that for the furtherance of business or not, that service will be considered as a supply. The same point is also considered here in the consideration part. Taxable person importing services from a related person, yes, that is a taxable supply. Permanent transfer of business assets. What is permanent transfer and all, we will see later in the upcoming slides, where ITC has been availed on such assets. We will learn all this one by one. So the first point, transaction between related persons. Person shall be deemed to be related if they fall under any of the following categories. Okay, officer or director of one business is the officer or director of another business. Suppose there are 2 business, A business and B business, A and B. Now the officer of A is also officer of B. It means there is one person XYZ, he is officer in company A and also in company B. Then these 2 businesses will be considered as a related business or related persons. Okay, businesses are legally recognized as partners. So as you know, partners can be individuals or the firm or entities. Right, if the 2 businesses are considered as a business partners, then also these 2 partners will be considered as a related person, and any supply between these 2 related persons will be considered as a supply even if made without consideration. An employer and an employee are related, obviously, there is no doubt in it. An employer and employee are the related persons. So any supply between an employer and employee will be considered as a supply, taxable supply. Any person holds at least 25% of shares in another company, either directly or indirectly. Now how do you understand this? Suppose there is a person XYZ and he has 30% shares in ABC Company Limited. Now that person XYZ and this company, these both will be considered as a related person. Now I say any person, okay, not any individual. Now XYZ, let me take another example. PQR private limited company. PQR private limited company, it is a company and it is considered as a person. Fine. Now this PQR company is a company, right? It holds or it acquires 30% shares in ABC company. Now in this transaction, PQR and ABC are related persons. Hope you understand this. We will go to the next point. Any of them controls the other directly or indirectly. If there are two such companies which controls the other one directly or indirectly, best example for this is holding and subsidiary company. Holding company controls the subsidiary company, and therefore yes, they are related persons. Directly, obviously directly. Now what do you mean by indirectly? Suppose there is a holding company. Here there is a holding company and below that there is a subsidiary company, and this subsidiary company is holding another subsidiary company. Sub-subsidiary company is there. Now the first company here was holding this company and it is holding the other company, sub-subsidiary company. So the sub-subsidiary company to the main holding company are related persons. They are under common control or management. If there are several companies and there is only one common management, then all such management are considered as the related persons. Example: Tata Sons, Johnson and Johnson, Godrej, etc. Entities together control another entity. Entities, the same example which we had taken here, businesses holding another entity, right? So there are several entities, suppose A company, B company, C company. All these three companies are holding P company, Q company and R company. They are members of the same family. So if there are different businesses and all these different businesses are held by or controlled by the members of same family, there is only one family who have several businesses, then all these businesses will be considered as a related person. So this is the definition given in the GST Act for the related person. You have to write this down and understand it thoroughly and by heart this, please, or at least remember all these points and produce it in examination or wherever it is applicable you use it, because the related persons always create confusion in the minds of GST practitioners, right? So this is all about the transaction between the related persons. How do you understand if any of this given case is true in any transaction, then that transaction will be a taxable transaction, right? Second point, supply of goods via agent. So if I say agent, there will be obviously a principal. So by a principal to his agent, and the agent will supply them on behalf of the principal. There is a principal who is supplying goods to agent, and agent is supplying goods further on behalf of principal. Then that is also taxable supply, even if such supply is made without consideration. Without considering who is supplying to whom, principal is supplying to agent. So if the principal and agent both are persons, not individuals, person, then also such supply will be considered as a taxable supply. By an agent to his principal, when the agent receives these goods on behalf of principal, if the agent is receiving any good on behalf of principal, then that is also a supply which is taxable, right? So there is a note: any supply between agent and principal will be liable to tax. Any supply between agent and principal will be liable to GST. Both agent and principal will be liable to pay GST jointly and severally. Severally means however big the amount is, both will be liable in their according to their respective liabilities. The person paying GST can later claim input tax credit. However, if you are paying GST, you are going to get the credit. Okay, the last point, last slide for today's video. Third point, taxable person importing services from a related person. So if you see related person, obviously that goes for a taxable supply. Import of services, obviously import of services, whether for a business or not for a business, we are considering, however, that as a supply. But here also in this point we are considering that even if it is made for a consideration or not, we are going to consider that as a supply, right? So import of services becomes a taxable, right? I will however read this point: import of services by a taxable person from related person or from any of his other establishments outside India for business purposes will be treated as supply. So in any case, be your establishment, be in that in India or outside India, if you are doing business remotely or directly, purposely, physically, however, in any mode, all such firms will amount to tax, will amount to GST. Now the last point, permanent transfer of business assets where ITC has been availed on such assets. What do you mean by permanent transfer? Permanent transfer means transfer without any intention of receiving the goods back. So if you are supplying such goods and you are having no such intention to get them back, then that will be considered as a permanent transfer, right? So all such permanent transfer of business assets where ITC is taken will be considered as a supply, even if there is no consideration involved. I will read this point. Permanent transfer or sale of business assets on which input tax credit has been availed will also be treated as supply, even if there is no consideration is received. Hope you have understood this point. Note, donation of business assets or scrapping or disposal in any other manner would also qualify as supply where input tax credit has been claimed. Look at this point, look at this note, very important is this point. Donation of business assets, you are donating business assets. Obviously there is an intention for not receiving the goods back because you are donating business assets, but to acquire these business assets you have claimed the input tax credit and therefore that will qualify for supply and therefore you have to pay the GST, right? So this is all about schedule 1. Let me also consider schedule 2 today only, schedule 3 today only in the same video, so that we will cover more number of syllabus in this time. Schedule 2, activities to be treated as supply of goods. Here they do not give condition whether it is for consideration or not, whether it is for business purpose or not. No, these are such activities blindly you have to directly declare it as yes, these are supplies, taxable supplies. Okay, transfer. Now transfer of title of goods. Now title of goods, if you are transferring, it means the ownership if you are transferring, then that will also be counted as supply of goods. I repeat, you are transferring title, it means ownership, it means you are selling the goods. Not only sales, transferring title includes sale. Okay, so there are many other things where the title is transferred. One more example I can give you other than sale, where the business is automatically transferred from father to son when father dies. Okay, that is also called as transfer. You know, there the transfer of title is happening and that will be considered as a supply. So who has to pay the taxes? The first person who is supplying it. Okay, he has to pay the taxes. Transfer of business assets. Business assets transferred or disposed of with or without consideration. Business assets which are transferred or disposed of with or without consideration, we have seen this point earlier also. But here we are considering about transfer of title of goods as well as this asset, this point. If the owner ceases to be a taxable person, then his business assets will be assumed to be supplied to him in the course of furtherance of business. I repeat this point, if the owner ceases to be a taxable person, then his business assets will be assumed to be supplied to him in the course of furtherance of business. I repeat this point because this is very interesting, where the owner ceases to be a taxable person. It means, see, I will give you an example. A person who takes registration in GST, he is liable to pay the taxes. I repeat, the person who is registered in GST, he is liable to pay the taxes. Fine. Due to some reason, okay, there are several other reasons. We will see all these reasons in the registration chapter. There are some reasons where registration is taken away, taken off, or it is given off by the person. Now, in that case, when the registration is taken away, then the owner ceases to be a taxable person. Owner need not pay the taxes. Then his business assets will be assumed to be supplied to him. Then it will be assumed that business assets will still be transferred to the owners only, and therefore the owner has to still pay the taxes. ऐसा हो सकता है कि कोई एक बंदा रजिस्ट्रेशन अपना कैंसिल करवा ले और अपना बिजनेस किसी और को बेच दे, बिजनेस असेट्स किसी और को बेच दे. सो पहले आपने रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल करवाया और आपका बिजनेस किसी और को आपने बेच दिया. सो यहाँ क्या हो रहा है कि आपने पहले रजिस्ट्रेशन ख़त्म करवाया. इट मीन्स यू आर नॉट पेइंग द GST. सो इफ you are selling it later, then also you have to pay the taxes, GST, because you are transferring the business assets, right? So hope this point is clear. This is not applicable in the following cases. Business is transferred to another person. So if the business is transferred to another person, then obviously this first point is not applicable. Business is carried by taxable representative who is paying the taxes, then also this point is not applicable where owner is ceasing to be a taxable person, right? So supply of goods by an unincorporated AOP or BOP for consideration. AOP means association of persons, BOP means body of persons, or you can also call this as body of individuals. So supply of goods by an unincorporated, which is not registered, association or body of individuals for a consideration. If you are supplying for a consideration, and that too for such a association or body which is not registered, then that will be considered as a supply. Okay. Schedule 2 is not yet over. Transfer of right in goods without transfer of title. Transfer of right in goods without transfer of title. What do you mean by right in goods? You are giving the right to use that good, but you are not selling it. Example, rent, tenancy. The examples are given here for land and building: lease, rent, tenancy, easement, license to occupy land. So you are giving the right here. In these many cases, you are giving right to use those goods, but transfer of title is not happening. In this case also, you are considering that as a supply. You are renting your business, you are renting your assets, that is also called as a supply. Lease or letting out of the business, which includes commercial, industrial, residential complex for business use, either or partly. So any, be that even residential complex, that has to be used for business. If it is used for personal purpose, then no, GST is not applicable. But if it is used for business purpose, either wholly or partly, that is taxable, right? So transfer of business assets. The owner uses or allows to use business assets for personal use, right? The owner is using the business assets for personal use, that is also a supply. Construction of a building or complex intended for a sale or to a buyer wholly or partly. Wholly or partly, if your construction is happening but that is intended for a sale to a buyer, then that is also a supply. Temporary transfer or permitting the use of intellectual property right, IPR. You are temporarily transferring your IPR to someone else, then you are taxable. You are doing a taxable supply. You are permitting, you are giving the permission to use the IPR, then also it is considered as a taxable supply. See, friends, these points are very very intense points, and it has a deep meaning within it. It takes really very large time to make video lectures on these points. If the lockdown continues to be the same, then we will make the detailed videos on these points. Otherwise, in offline classes, we are going to relearn all these schedules and supply again, because only supply I require at least 1 month to teach what is a supply and what is included and what is not included in a supply. I take not less than 1 month. So that is the strength of the GST, right? So if I speak about this point, I will give you an example here. See, I have written a book, and in my book I have written let us say I have written some 10 theories, and these 10 theories, out of these 10 theories, 2 theories are very famous. Now some other author wants to use my theories. Now to use my theories, they have to contact me and they have to get a written permission from me to use my theories, because I have copyright over the material. I have intellectual property right over the material. They cannot use without my permission, and if I give them permission, then that becomes a taxable supply, be that even a temporary transfer. If it is a permanent transfer, yes, GST is applicable. Renting of immovable property. Next point, renting of immovable property, that is land or building, yes, that will be considered as a supply. Rented resident is exempted from GST. Rented residence, because residential complex we do not consider it as a business, because it is used for personal purpose. We consider that into the direct tax, that is in income tax. Development of information technology software, IT software, any software that is a supply, taxable supply. Agreeing to refrain from an act, yes, you will learn obviously in the Contract Act. So non-competition agreements, if you are making, or if you are not doing any other thing for a consideration, then that will be also considered as a supply of service. Transfer of right to use any goods for a consideration. Any good if you are using where right of transfer is happening, then obviously that will be considered as supply. Any treatment or process which is applied to another person's goods, that is polishing, that is painting or job work, then that will be also considered as a supply of service, which is taxable, right? Now the Schedule 3, the last point. Activities or transactions treated neither as a sale of goods nor as the sale of services. Following are the transactions covered under the negative list. So this is such a schedule which you will learn, which you will love to always remember and keep this in mind, because this is such a thing which is out of GST, out of scope of GST. First point, there are the transactions covered under the negative list. Services provided by an employee to an employer is not the supply, because it is employment. It is not supply of goods or services, right? So that will be out of scope of supply. Gifts up to 50,000 in value in a financial year by an employer to an employee, that will be still considered as a gift, not as a supply of service or goods. That is not considered here. Services of the funeral, burial, crematorium, mortuary, including transportation of the deceased, the hearse van or the ambulance service is all out of GST. Services by an court or tribunal, obviously it is government work and it is out of scope of GST. Duties performed by MP, MLA, MLC, members of local bodies, all these are government employees and they work for the government, and therefore that their supply of service will not be considered for a GST purpose. Duties performed by any person as a chairperson or member or a director of a body established by central or state or government or local authority. So if you are a chairperson or a member or a director of any company, then that is also not a supply of service. Here also, if you are working for a central government, state government or local authority, then also it is not a supply of service. duties performed by any person who holds any post in pursuance of the provisions of the constitution in that capacity. If you are a person who is appointed by the constitution, like there are many army people, there are various positions in the army, like there are departments as well, NCC, NSS and all those things. So all those conditions, all those positions and people who are serving in the capacity of the constitution as provided by the constitution, then their supply of service will not amount to taxes. Sale of land, this comes in capital gain, GST is not applicable. Sale of building, capital gain, GST is not applicable. Actionable claim is considered as a good, but other than lottery, okay, actionable claim will be considered as a good. If you are transferring, if you are supplying actionable claim, then GST is applicable definitely, but other than lottery, betting and gambling. So lottery, betting and gambling does not come under the GST, right? So that will come obviously into the Income Tax Act, and it will be considered into the income from other sources. It is out of scope of GST, right? Now this is the summary of section 7. Supply includes all forms of supply with consideration, first point. Import of services with or without consideration, second point. Third and fourth. See, schedule 1, all 4 transactions which you have learned, and supply, section 7, subsection 1a. This is subsection 1, these 3 points, and subsection 1a says schedule 2 is also there, supply of goods or supply of services. Schedule 2 that we have learned today only in this class. Supply, these 3 we had seen in the previous video, right? So supply excludes schedule 3. In today's video we have learned all those 8 transactions and activities by the government as a public authority. Now this is amendment made to the schedule 3. This amendment was made in the previous year 2019, and the amendment was for the grant of liquor license. Now let us understand the amendment. Grant of liquor license by government. Notification number is 25/2019. City is commercial taxes dated 30th September 2019. Now service by way of grant of alcoholic liquor license by government is now out of scope of supply. Earlier GST was applicable, but people were very much outraged because alcoholic liquor is kept out of the GST by the constitution. But if you are giving the license, how can that be considered as a supply of alcoholic liquor? Therefore, the granting of license was considered as a supply, because we had seen in this definition all forms of supply. License was also considered here in this all forms of supply. Please go to the definition to my previous video, and there you will find this word license. So license, giving the license here was considered as a supply of service, and therefore license cannot be good supply of service, and therefore government said GST was applicable. But then many debate took place, and GST Council declared that granting of alcoholic liquor license by the government is now out of scope of GST. Earlier sales tax was applicable, VAT was applicable, and the same is applicable. Excise duty is also applicable, right? No GST is applicable on such services. Consideration in return to the license of supply of alcoholic liquor includes license fee. Now what happens here, let me tell you, if you are not aware, let me tell you. To open an alcoholic liquor shop, to open an alcohol shop, you want a license from the government, and to open the alcohol shop, the license which you take from the government, that license, to get that license you have to pay license fee, you have to pay application fee, or whatever name it is, right? So license fee and application fee, whatever you are paying to the government with taxes, right? And this will be considered as a consideration. So this consideration will not amount for taxable supply. So these field will not attract GST. Hope you have understood. There is a note, circular this 121/40/2019 or GST dated on GST dated 11th October 2019. All other license supplied by government attract GST. So which license we are speaking about? We are speaking about alcoholic liquor here. But the alcoholic liquor, other than alcoholic liquor, all other license like mining license, telecom license, grant of privileges or natural resources, or any other license, if the government is giving you, obviously that will attract GST. So this clarification was made from this circular in 2019. Look at the dates. 30th September they said license will not attract GST if it is alcoholic liquor license. Then immediately people started asking, what about the mining license, what about telecom license, what about the privileges that government is giving, what about the natural resources, if you are using natural resources license. Then immediately people started asking to the government. Government immediately gave the circular clarifying that all other licenses supplied by the government attract the GST. So mining license, telecom or whatever it is, everything will attract GST. Only and only alcoholic liquor license does not attract GST. So this clarification was made under the Amendment Act. Yes. Now levy of GST on nameplates as acknowledgement. This is also a supply. Okay. Circular number 116/35/2019. GST. Levy of GST on nameplates as an acknowledgement of receipt of donation or gift from individual donors. You might have seen there are some donation boards. So the donation boards, they are making such donations for the purpose of giving the money or for the charity purpose. Any gifts are given, any assets are given. Now government said the intention is very important. If the intention behind the donation is philanthropist, it means you are giving it as a charity, then no GST is applicable. GST practitioner or GST, the person from the commerce department, commercial taxes department will have to go to the site and he has to consider if that donation is in the interest of charity, then only not GST is applicable. In any other intent, that is if the intention of the donation is commercial, then GST is applicable. You might have seen these kind of boards in the churches, in the schools, in the temples, in many other charitable places. You might have seen such kind of boards. These are the donors for the construction of building or construction of or purchasing some assets or any other thing. Now these donations, do they attract GST? Is it a supply? Is it a taxable supply was the question. Now clarification was made through this circular, and the circular said no GST is applicable if the donation is philanthropist. Look at this. If I consider this as a philanthropist, then no GST is applicable. Now if it is a person and who is giving any donation for the commercial purpose, for the advertisement purpose, then such donation will be considered as a commercial intention and GST is applicable, right? So that's all about the classes for today. See you in next video, friends. Hope you have learned a lot from this video. Please comment below if you want more explanation, and thank you for staying with us. Any queries, complaints, please comment below. Subscribe to the channel which is mentioned here, Nilesh Kale. Subscribe. Thank you. See you in the next video.